denti d'azzurro.
What a wonderful day. Everything is okay. Not a problem in mind. Leaving worries behind. Except for that little doubt you have sun in your dress tonight. So you take a bottle of French wine, and then you say you don't live twice. You cast the dice. Masterpiece, you should have seen it. That rainbow in the moon. Masterpiece, you've gotta live it. That new dawn tomorrow. Masterpiece, you never acted, but life is a movie. Masterpiece, you've gotta try it. We're sure you'll be moving. Driving down through Beverly Hills, you feel the breeze of the past in your lungs. What an elegant place. You walk with elephant grace. On Sunset Boulevard has been waiting to start. They all gather to celebrate. Happy birthday, my honey dear. What a joy to see your own mates in this Hollywood atmosphere. With us at last. Masterpiece, you should have seen it. That rainbow in the moon glow. Masterpiece, you've got to live it. That new dawn tomorrow. Masterpiece, you never acted, but life is a movie. Masterpiece, you've got to try it. We're sure you'll be moving.
Wow.
Tonight.
I think it's incredible. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Paul.
Ciao faremo.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, how are you doing at the moment, man?
Fine. Closed at home, but okay.
Yeah, because we know, and of course we understand the situation in Italy, that it's far more worse than anywhere else in the world at the moment. So that's why I got the idea to just inquire how your situation is everything okay, etc., and how are you coping with the situation. So with respect, of course, what you did with the Masterpiece live, I think it's really something incredible that you did it. It's like, well, supporting the fans and all other people who like your music and have to stay indoors. So thank you, grazie.
Well, it's the least I could do. I mean, we were trying to get the situation, to be lighter for people because, especially here in Italy and especially up north.
Yeah.
Rome is quite okay, but Milano, Bergamo, and all these areas, is very, very, very bad at the moment.
Yeah.
And so, we all have to stay home, and so we have a lot of time. And of course, nowadays internet technology, you can do live stuff, and
yeah.
So I like the idea to be able to do those songs live, on a different instrument instead of using the usual, Italo disco typical sounds. You give it a different taste, a different approach, because these are songs. They were born that way. They were born on a piano, on a guitar, and so it's great to give them back like that, because that's how that's what they're about. Melodies, sing songs.
But I think also, Paul, it proves that you are a real musician. But there was a lot of thing going on, of course, in the past about also photo modeling artists in the Italo disco scene. But you are one of the guys really creating, composing, singing live. You are really a musician. You have the music in your veins. So I think in a moment like this, when people have so many other things on their mind, and give them just a little bit of a distraction with the beautiful melodies that you have created, well, I think it deserves a lot of respect. So you give us what we feel to give you back as a mille grazie.
It's fantastic to to have this affection and this relationship, with this kind of music. We are all, I think Italo disco. Many people who did Italo disco, produced the records, were real musicians.
Yeah.
Then of course the big wholesalers from Milan.
Yeah.
They started producing a lot of products. Like 10, 20, 30 records a month. And
True.
of course, you can't keep up with that. You can't have all this talent, all these people really singing, and so they had to find a solution, and they put this industrial approach to it.
True.
And so it's unfortunately a lot of Italo disco is made like that, but that's a fact. But initially when we started, because I think I might be maybe the first or the second Italo artist. I think Masterpiece is probably one of the first Italo tracks ever, and we were all musicians. Me, Drombini, and all these guys. We all come from the 70s. We all come from progressive music, classical music, rock, and so we have that background. We all come from that, and we didn't have the technology to like nowadays. Nowadays it's much easier. With computers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, you had to play an instrument. You had to write a song. You had to know how to play an instrument.
True, but can I grab the occasion now to ask you? The Masterpiece 12-inch was on Best Records, but it was distributed by Il Discotto in Milano.
Right.
Is there any explanation why? Because I think, when I remember well, it had something to do with the strength of the distribution by Il Discotto was in those days, fine, maybe great. Was that the reason to have this cooperation between Best Records and Il Discotto?
Well, basically, what happened is that the record was produced with a very low budget, and Claudio Casalini, who's the guy behind Best Records, offered to make some white labels, initial white labels, and he was the first one to print those. And then at the same time, Paolo Miccioni, who was the producer, he went to Milan and found an agreement with Fuserpori, which is Discotto. Yeah. And so as soon as Discotto started printing officially, Best Records, disappeared. And the same thing happened when Baby Records, when I signed directly with Baby Records, then they made an agreement and Discotto disappeared. So it's steps. Gasolini was a very famous store, record store here in Rome. All the DJs would go there and buy the records, but he was not really a wholesaler. He was, specialized in Rome, Central Italy area, and so we thought we needed somebody with more distribution, more bigger, basically. And so that's how Discotto came in, So the first to believe in the track was Gasolini, but then Discotto really took it over and printed the 12-inch in the way that people know it,
Yeah, thank you for the explanation.
And I think the first release of Masterpiece with Best Records, me and Drombini used we didn't even use our real names. We used our pseudonyms, which were Taheri Pomerol, and so. That's how you can distinguish the Best Records release, because all you had was Gazebo, Masterpiece, and then our two names, Taheri Pomerol. and then when Discoto released officially, then we put our real names.
Well, it's a great story.
Yeah, because in the beginning, we didn't think we didn't do, we couldn't even dream that this record would be a hit or be a successful record. We were just happy to be able to release the song. And so we said, "Oh, you never know what's going to happen," and so we put our fake names. I mean, our pseudonyms under. And,
what I think is also a compliment to your work, because we are for so many years good friends, so I can say to you without just any other meaning, to say to you that your songs are always different enough comparing to the ones before, but it's still the signature of Gazebo, and that's what I think is, for me, I like melodies, I like beautiful sounds, always a motive to appreciate your songs.
Well, that's great, because it's an effort I put in my work. I try to give something more and different each time. I think an artist should do that. I don't understand why other people just copy themselves and make the same thing all the time, just for the sake of money or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think an artist should always try to progress, to develop, to do something. And my records. I've done even albums that are not Italo disco or not even dance.
No.
Because I think a musician needs to be able to express themselves, and dare. You should dare to go beyond, just exactly the way we dared when we did Masterpiece, because there was nothing like that before.
True.
And when we did that, we were conscious that we were doing something different, and Masterpiece became a hit because it was totally different from what was going on in that period, from all the English American productions, and people just loved it because it was, like, hey, there's something, special about this song, There's a melody, there's something that you don't hear in the American records,
Yeah.
And so you have to dare to do something. Otherwise, you never progress. You always stay still,
True. And the real artist is always creating something new. Like a painter. I always compare it with the painter. A painter is not likely to paint the same thing twice or 3 times. It's like an artist is composing a new song.
Absolutely. I mean, every day. I mean, every time I write a new. I'm working on a new song, whether writing the melody or the lyrics or the production, whatever. I try to go ahead. I try to not to copy myself, because it's easy to copy yourself. But at the same time, it's like being working in a post office or a bank, or I don't know. It's not artistic anymore. It's a different job.
Yeah.
And so my point of view is that you have to go beyond each time. You have to search new frontiers. Go ahead. And sometimes it's a mistake. Sometimes you make flops. I did a lot of flops because people didn't like what I did. But that's the risk you have to do. That's being an artist. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's one thing I still want to ask you because of the situation of today. You as an artist enclosed in your home, is it like this that you are just the family man indoors, or are you the artist creating new songs, etc., etc.? Is there a combination? Is there something challenging to have more songs even as a demo? Are you creating things now in your own studio? What's your daily life at the moment indoors?
Well, of course, psychologically, it's not very easy, because that people are dying out there. It's heavy on you.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, So I am creative, but I'm doing it very easily. I'm not really forcing myself to be so, But I'm like open to that. That's the whole thing about doing the Masterpiece, the unplugged version. That's the whole idea, to do something totally different, because I'm of responsibilities. I feel like I can do. I'm free to because I know people will appreciate it because it's just the fact that you're doing it. People like it. Many of my fans, they're happy to see that I'm in my studio doing something and communicating. So I feel free to do that. And like I'm also doing some other things. I don't know if you will permit me to say it, but F.R. David, Words, the song Words.
Yeah.
Like he asked me if I would write lyrics for his new album.
Okay.
So, so I'm doing that. It's something I would have never done some 2-3 years ago. Basically, I wouldn't have the time to do it or whatever. But now I'm like, hey, I can. Why not? Doing new things and go ahead and experiment. Why not?
Okay, can you say something to the fans and the listeners of Iventi d'Azzurro at the moment as something like a hello and a support to Holland? Can you say something to all of us?
Of course. I mean, Iventi d'Azzurro, you've always been a bigger family for us, Italian music, Italo disco. So we all love you so much, and we appreciate it's not something that only comes just recently for the coronavirus. It's something that is there for the last 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
So we really love you, and we really like the idea that you guys worldwide and in Holland, you love our music. So we really appreciate it, and we're really looking forward to be able to see you guys again. It's been a long time.
And we love you too, Paul. Of course, we cannot do anything else but to play once again this wonderful masterpiece, which is called I Like Chopin. Can you do the introduction yourself? And of course, I will take the opportunity then to say grazie, stay healthy, stay okay, and let's speak to each other very soon again, okay?
Of course. So it's dedicated to all our friends from Iventi d'Azzurro, a song from 1983, I Like Chopin by a guy called Gazebo.
Bye-bye, ciao ciao!
Ciao a tutti.
Imagine
Echt een masterpiece is dit, Marcello. Echt waar. Meen ik serieus.
Mooi,
dit is zo mooi, dit. En dan weet je dat klassiek een eerste term is geweest voor die Italo-disco.
Precies, dat is helemaal juist en correct gezegd ook. En wat een gave vent is het toch ook. Hè? Maar ja, hij zegt het ook, als we al zo lang vrienden zijn ook, dan is het een genoegen om aan de radio te komen. Nou, daar ben ik dan ook wel weer blij mee dat we het kunnen doen. Dat we hem zomaar kunnen bellen, uiteraard. Hè? Rick vraagt of we Lunatic ook nog zouden kunnen draaien. Nou, dat doen we dan straks.
Tuurlijk.
We hebben nog een uurtje, dus dat zou wel gaaf zijn. We hebben Mike Hammer nog in de request staan van Julius Wijnmalen. We hebben nog heel wat plannetjes eigenlijk. Hè? Dus nou, bij deze, mocht je denken van ik wil het nog wel eens een keer terugluisteren. Je weet het, hè? Je kunt naar de site van Radio Stad Den Haag gaan. Dan kijk je bij de downloads. En dan kun je door de service van Rick kun je het binnen de kortste keren, waarschijnlijk morgen al, terugluisteren. En dan kun je dat tot genoegen tot je nemen, zeg maar. Dat ga ik ook uiteraard tegen Gazebo nog even extra zeggen, dat hij dat niet vergeet. Dat hij zichzelf nog kan terughoren om te weten hoe het klonk toen hij dus live op de radio was. Op deze maandagavond bij Iventi dat Zuro. Ja, ik moest even een stukje pizza wegslikken.
Wie moet dat?
Ik moest even nog een stukje wegslikken, ja.
Ik had eigenlijk nog wel verwacht dat er misschien nog mensen in de chat vragen hadden willen stellen aan hem.
Ja, misschien wel. Ik heb het eigenlijk niet gesuggereerd ook. Dat is misschien wel mijn schuld eigenlijk. Maar nou ja, het kan ook betekenen dat ik gevraagd heb wat mensen wilden weten. Dat zou nog kunnen. Hè? Dat je
dan was het positieve erin.
Dat is het positieve erin. Ja. Dus